Hi there, everyone. I'm NJ Evans, and I decided today that I was going to have this little conversation with you just to share some of the exciting things I've been experiencing. And I was also wondering exactly why was I experiencing this grand exposure to the world of cybersecurity. Now, one of my companies is public relations strategies for media and cybersecurity and you. But my focus is there. So my focus is for fledglings, people, business to business, 1 year. And in that 1 year time period, maybe you made up towards $250,000. And also, you probably don't have a lot of exposure to cybersecurity. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to introduce you to cybersecurity. But now here's the amazing part. On March 18th of this year, 2024, I had the wonderful opportunity of becoming exposed to cybersecurity myself because of identity theft. All right, now I've been listening to quite a few of my colleagues who have been experiencing identity theft or some type of annoyance in that category. And they're on YouTube. And I said, wow, that's interesting. And then I would strategize in my mind, blah, 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 blah. So as I developed my resume, as I also developed my little attache case here with all the different tools, learning about the social engineering, learning about the phishing, and also some of the other things, the usual stuff, ransomware, Trojans, worms, spies, and on and on and on. Now, I've only been exposed to the technical side of this. And when I say technical, I mean the educational component of this for the last, going on 2 years. So I'm in school, actually, for a certification in cybersecurity. Now, I've always wanted to help people. That has always been my thing. That was my 45, 50 years in media communications, was always to assist and help people to the best of my ability because I felt that I had a gift. And the gift was to take compound sentences and turn them into simple sentences, provide a strategy and an understanding of exactly how and why. This one threw me for a loop. This one really threw me for a loop. I was not anticipating nor expecting identity theft in my category for me. So I decided, all right, here we go. I'm going to become my very first client. And I'm going to really sit down and strategize. And not only that, take copious notes on what am I doing on a daily basis? Because I am not only representing a small business, I am representing an individual. Okay, an individual. And some of the individuals that I know might have less knowledge about cybersecurity than I have presently. So I said, let me share this with you because I really did not like this. Did not. And it didn't intimidate me. Instead, I decided to play the chess game. And I'm good at chess. So here we go. If you're experiencing identity theft, do you know what to do? Let me tell you what I found out. So the first thing I had to do is go to my bank, approach my bank and say, hey guys, what happened here? How did this happen? I started seeing so many inaccuracies that it just surprised me that these things had slid by. But then again, it didn't, because the way this particular individual approached my account, they obviously had something about my ID, something about that information that normal people would not have. So I said, okay. And then in the same thought, I'm saying to myself, well, who have you offended lately, lady? Who have you offended? Well, I can think of a few people. I really can. And it's just because of my straightforwardness. I have no intentions of insulting anyone, but I have no intentions of being insulted either. So I do remember one scenario in particular, and that particular person decided to take offense to what it is that I said, which was, I am not interested. Not from a negative place, just from a simple fact that I said, I'm not interested. And to me, that should suffice. That should answer the question. We don't need to linger in that particular category. We can now move forward because you're not going to go beyond where I allow. You're not going to go any further than that. And that should be everybody and anybody's MO. And then instead of them accepting that, they said to me, well, I can force you. Okay. Now, do I feel that they are responsible for all the things that are happening? Not necessarily directly. Mm-mm. Not necessarily directly. Will I ever expose any of that? Not probably. Mm-mm. But I do know one thing. Since that particular conversation, then all of a sudden identity theft pops up. And I've been on YouTube and LinkedIn, and I've had people take my name and insert their name in between my name, especially when I was really into my thing and I was doing YouTube the way it can be done and doing LinkedIn the way it can be done. And until I just got to a place where I burnt out. Now, let's go back to the story. So I speak to the bankers. The bankers tell me what to do. I'd go off the checking list. So the next stop that I had to go to was the police officers, my local police station. So I called on the phone and I spoke to the police department and what transpired. The gentleman was very, very Dick Tracy kind of sounding. And just the facts, ma'am, just the facts, that type of thing. And in the middle of the conversation, I said, I'm on the fence as to whether or not this guy is condescending, or does he think that because of my age, I should not know how to put two and two together and get four instead of five? So after we engaged in that conversation, I felt very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. So that means, let me tell you right now, sidebar. Anytime you feel uncomfortable with something, there is something going on that is not correct. And then you follow your own intuition. So my intuition was shut it down. So I said, thank you very much. Hung up the phone. Consulted with another friend of mine who happened to be a fraud investigator. And I said to him exactly what was transpiring. He said, okay. I told him about the thing with the local police. So he looked at me and he says, why would they want to come to your house? He says, for an identity theft that you're reporting. He said, they don't need to do that. I said, really? Now that's because I never had that scenario. I have no clue exactly what the rules and regulations are in this particular category. But now, ladies and gents, I want you to take note and notice that that is something that you should pay attention to. They don't have to come to your house. You can do this online. You can call them. You can get a number. It all depends, but they don't have to come to your house. If you decide that you want to meet with the police, you can go to any Starbucks or any meeting place in that particular surrounding area, case in point, whatever the name of your city is and whatever the name of your county is. You can, a local city. All right, so you can go to another unaware, hidden, very covert type of location in order to have this conversation with law enforcement. Didn't know that. I know that now. So I'm sharing it with you. Okay. So I returned the call. I called back to the police station after I got that information. And I happened to have a young lady on the phone this time. And I said to her, what do you guys do? Who are you really? Because I was referring to the first person as officer. Well, she goes, well, the first thing is this. Nobody that answers this phone is an officer. I said, really now? She goes, yeah. So I explained to her what transpired between myself and her colleague. And she said to me, I'm sorry about that. I apologize because he had no right to say that. He had no right to do that. He had no right. He had no right. And then she says, so from now on, let me tell you what your rules, what the rights are that you have. And then she listed her version, which is what I just shared with you, which is you don't have to meet anybody on your personal turf. You did not commit a crime. That's part one. So, of course, then we had to go shut down all the email accounts, not even really shut them down, but change the password. Oh, boy, I hate doing that. But I did. And I did the two-step verification. I did the two-step verification. And the thing that happened there was I was surprised. I was surprised that I had such a difficult time getting back into my own accounts. And I mean social media accounts as well as my email addresses. So I had to go and compile and do the whole thing all over again. That's the other piece. But the other segment that I'd like for you to understand is this. Now, let me tell you how far this went. This went to Credit Karma, where I found out I had 11 breaches. This went to my insurance, where I found out that I was now a part of an investigation that is taking place because my medical documents were listed. Okay. This went to one of my merchants that I usually deal with without any hesitation. And there was some shaking of the hands. I just feel somebody just got into my things, and this was just something that was a little outstanding. The only reason why the bank scenario didn't impact me as much as it could have is because 2 days before, I decided to take money out of my account and just leave in something that I knew if anybody went in there, it wouldn't bother me. So I share that with you because I want you to know this is something that we're all finding to be very strange. All right, this is a period of time that we have to get on board and understand what it's all about. I'm not afraid to talk to people at all. So the letter that I received from my end, it wasn't even my insurance company, but it was the dental office that I was visiting, whose data was breached, who I happened to be one of the people that was involved with being on the list of people whose data was breached. And I said, really? How does that happen? How does that happen? And, but the letter was so intimidating. If you have any kind of feeling about not only law enforcement, if you had any kind of feeling about your teachers in school, and when they spoke very sternly to you, you quiver in your feet, I mean, in your boots, and you just stand there and you're shaking. Well, that was the kind of letter that it was. And I don't happen to do that very well. Maybe it's because of my experiences in Catholic schools. You know, they teach you well a lot of things besides education. And so I didn't quiver. I became more curious. So I said to another associate of mine, I said, you know what's so interesting about this? It's the consumer. And it's those people who are in low income, working class, new business owners, be you male or female. I was specifically going after women of color from 45 years old on up. But I'm telling you, it doesn't really matter because you see, what happens here is that it's an intimidation. So now let's look at something. Did the hackers mean to cause all of this? The way I see it, because of the stuff that was done and the manner in which it was done. Now, in class, I've studied other hackers who were really, really sophisticated. This wasn't a sophisticated thing. Well, it was more than what I know, but it wasn't as sophisticated as the one that hit MGM in Las Vegas. That was a real Lulu. And then there was another one that hit Europe where they knocked out all the insurance, almost all of them, the medical insurance and the hospitals and stuff. They went down. You need to look that up. That was on Weird Magazine. I think it was Weird Magazine, or it was either Forbes. But anyway, just check out some of those things that have happened. Now, that was sophisticated. And it was a young man, like a 25-year-old, who was able to rise to the occasion and solve the mystery and save the day. He was a hacker, but he was a hacker who had integrity. Check that out. So my thing is, I don't have anything against hackers. I really don't. But they are so far ahead of the common person in relationship to what this is all about that all of us need to pay attention. We need to pay attention and do not become intimidated because somebody says that they're going to send, the FBI has all of your information, all the people who was on that list. That's how it was phrased. The people who was on that list, whose information was breach. Really? You know what was weird about this? My insurance company never knew it took place. So now who was really the target? Was I the target? Was the insurance company the target? Who's the target here? Yes, I happen to be one of the baby boomers. And yes, I happen to think that we should help people. I really, really do. And I think that it's time for us to start helping and wake up, baby boomers. Let people know that you're here and your brains work very well because you are considered a senior. And there are laws to help you on that one. But don't become intimidated. Don't fall apart. Don't second guess yourself, especially when you feel something inside of you saying, this is not right. Last casing point. On the letter that I received from the lawyer's office, from the dental's office, where my data was breached, where my information was breached, the letter, if that lawyer didn't send me the information, I would have never known all of this was going on behind the scenes, just like those 11 data breaches that I have found in my credit scores. So if he hadn't done that, I wouldn't have known. But because he did, I now know. But was he telling me that because he wanted to secure my mind and let me know, don't worry about a thing, all is going to be well? And if he was, then why did he make sure I understood that whoever was involved with this will be prosecuted to the full length of the law? I hope so. But why would he say that in that particular fashion? Oh, come on. Think, read. If you don't know, ask. These things are important. Yes, I am developing my business, but I decided that I was going to really become the first client and really separate myself from the actual things that I'm doing. There's much more that I'm doing. And every so often I'll give you an update because I want you to become aware so that when you see something like this come past your desk or come in front of you, you'll know exactly what to do, the next steps and the next steps. I decided that I was going to start doing live events that cover this particular topic, start interviewing various individuals who are in the cyber industry and have them who are above $250,000, have those who have experience being hacked, have those who have not experienced, those who might have had some kind of interaction with social engineering and understand what that's all about. Some of the professors, and I've met some outstanding professors who teach cybersecurity. Very nice. But I also want the ones who are in the industry, all right, who are in the industry, who done who teach cyber, not even teach, but they're experienced with cybersecurity, and they can tell you the nuances. That's who I am. I'm NJ Evans. And yes, I talk about PR strategies with a focus in media, because that's where I'm really known. Now to be known in cybersecurity. And you cannot panic. Don't panic. Take a deep breath, go outside for a walk, come back, look at the letter, and scrutinize the letter. Analyze the writing. Does that composition in that particular paragraph make any sense to the top and the bottom paragraphs? Does it make any sense? Do they flow together? And why you? Why you? Why me? I will have another update soon. But in the meantime, you take good care of yourself. Dot your I's, cross your T's. And for heaven's sakes, do not become gregarious when you have somebody on the phone. If your instincts tells you that this person is asking you too many personal questions, they probably are. I have 2 friends whose bank's accounts were wiped out from being gregarious, talk a lot. And that's only because they're friendly people, they're easy. That's their personalities. but they're not going to be as easy anymore. Will you be easy? Will you be the next person? My information is at the bottom. If you feel like dealing with somebody who's fairly new to the cyber world, fairly new for the moment, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be an expert by the time all of this comes to full circle, because I'm the type of individual that will get to the bottom of it. If you would like to be involved with somebody like that, or somebody to assist you navigate through your stuff, my information is at the bottom of this page. Once again, I'm NJ Evans, and you can look me up on LinkedIn. My name is Natalie J. or NJ Evans. I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, you have yourself a great day. And I mean, have yourself a great day. Ciao.